His name is Derek Lunsford.
Derek Lunsford.
2023 Mr. Olympia, Derek Lunsford.
And new Olympia champion, Derek
He did it.
Lunsford.
He did it. Derek Lunsford. What's up, Desktopers? Xavier Wills here for Desktop Bodybuilding for another one-on-one interview. And today I'm privileged to be joined by your 2023 Mr. Olympia, your 2022 212 Mr. Olympia, the first champ in bodybuilding, winning across those two bodybuilding divisions at the Mr. Olympia level. I'm pleased to welcome and I'm honored to welcome Derek Lunsford to Desktop Bodybuilding. First time in a while, but we're doing it again, man. But
I know.
This time
Hey,
it's Mr. Olympia.
thanks for having me, man. What a welcome. Listen, I want to give all the credit where it's due. I want to correct one thing. I was a 2021 212 Mr. Olympia because Hottie
Oh,
Cupid.
of course.
That's right.
Of course,
So
yeah.
I know the numbers, everybody gets it all messed up. People say I'm the 2003 Mr. Olympia. I'm like, wait a minute, we're going all over the board here. But no, it
Going back
has
to
been a
Ronnie
while,
days.
man. It has been a minute. I can't remember the last time that we did an interview together, but I know we've done a couple, and I know you were hitting me up around the Olympia time, and it was just a lot of craziness. And then finally, here we are today. So thanks for having me, man.
No, it's a pleasure, man. And I knew going into the Olympia, he was obviously a big chance to win it because I said, dude, you got a pretty good chance of winning it because he said we'll do it afterwards. I'm like, and when you win, I know you're gonna be busy. So, and
Yeah,
obviously, with your wife being pregnant and now you're a dad, it's like that's why I said I'm holding you to that, and you're a man of
yeah.
your word, and you came through, man. And it's really really cool. But we
Of
get
course.
to talk on the other side of the Olympia because we was talking pre-Olympia, and it's cool to see now. Obviously,
Yeah.
your life's done a complete, not turnaround because he's on an upward trajectory, if I can speak, and but it's really gone to the next level. So, man, talk about what it's been like. We'll get into talking about the 2023 Mr. Olympia a little bit more, but
Mhm.
talk about what it's been like, the whole whirlwind of winning the Olympia. Obviously, you've got guest posing commitments, all this other stuff going on, and then obviously your schedule gets a whole lot busier. Your wife's pregnant, then you have a child, you go through the whole post Olympia thing of, the online hate and stuff like that. Like, talk me through what that experience post Olympia has been like for you.
Dude, it is absolutely life changing. I mean, when your title is Mr. Olympia, bro, it's not just an unbelievable feeling and moment in life. It is truly life changing. And it's crazy because I was saying, I don't want to say too much because like it's not happened yet or nothing. There's some pretty big news that's in the works. So I don't want to release it just yet. But I did say that pretty much everybody except the president of the United States has gotten a hold of me. Well,
Oh, wow. Wow.
there is if that's a hint of anything, might be having a dinner with a certain someone next month. So that was a
That's
crazy
wild.
phone call that I got a couple days ago. But anyway, yeah, just it's unreal. It's like a lot of great opportunities have come my way to travel the world. I mean, listen, I come from a small town of Indiana here in the United States, and my dream was to travel the world and do what I love to do, which is bodybuild. And so I'm getting the opportunity to do that and meet so many people out there that are supporting me and have supported me for a long time, as well as uh, my livelihood for my family. We just had our first daughter, as we mentioned, and it's like that's it's been a huge blessing in that area too as well. So there's obviously a great opportunity to make good amount of money in this sport that we love and doing what we love, but also like it is a high level responsibility. You have also the good with the bad. How do you respond to some of the criticism and some negativity that's out there, and how can you show the world how to be a positive role model, and doing all that while being just the best version of you. Don't Not trying to be anyone but myself, and what's great about it is that it is a high responsibility, but it also makes me a better me. So I'm very grateful for it at the same time, So yeah, been a crazy, crazy couple months, dude.
And it's crazy. I think looking back, because I remember the days when I got into bodybuilding, it was Ronnie versus Jay, like it was that big rivalry. And straight away, I went to being the Jay Cutler fan because you've been underdog story, you've been second so many times. And I was just like, in my mind, not that I was a guy that would ever go online and bag someone out, but in my mind, I was like, Ronnie's the enemy. Why is he winning? It was like I want Jay to win, and that's all I cared
Yeah.
about as a fan. And that real fandom and hardcore, like where you support one guy, is completely gone for me. Being in the media side of things and stuff, I just more know the personalities, and I like people as people, and I still recognize the physiques. But that sort of hardcore fandom is sort of gone. But I always go for people that are good people in the industry. So to see, I had obviously Samson, who I know and who I love, and he's a great guy who was obviously one of the favorites going into the Olympia. I had you, who obviously I know is a great guy we've interviewed before and everything. And it was like,
Mhm.
it's so cool on a personal level seeing someone achieve that level of success. But dude, being a dad now, what was that experience like? Because we actually messaged and I followed up and said, hey, about, do you want to do that interview soon? You said, we're actually going to the hospital getting induced today or
Yeah.
something like that. I'm like, dude, go and you're like, oh, maybe hit me up later in the week. I'm like, I
Yeah.
was sort of felt bad. I'm like, okay, I will, but I felt bad. I'm like, dude, you're just having a child. I don't care. Like, hit me up
Yeah.
whenever. But obviously, it's a very recent thing. So, what's the experience? How did it all go down? Talk me through how everything happened, and then obviously now having your baby at home. I assume. I think your baby's at home.
Yeah.
Obviously, yeah.
Yeah, we just had our second pediatric appointment this morning, right before this interview. Super healthy baby, super healthy mama. So praise God for that. I've changed more dirty diapers in the last 2 weeks than I ever imagined I would in my lifetime. But you know what? It's crazy because even days before she was born, I was excited. I was anticipating what it was going to be like. But I'm telling you what, man, after watching my wife, who I've been with for 13 years now almost, watching her through this whole 9 month pregnancy, watching her through the 3 days of labor, 3 hours of pushing, and then ended up having a C-section. I mean, watching her go through that was just incredible. I mean, it was intense, and it was something that I'm not so sure I was ready for, especially like the final delivery. But hearing our babies cry for the first time is like,
You cried, didn't you? You cried.
bro, yeah, of course, man.
I lost it. I lost
Of
it too,
course.
man.
I'm worried about
Mm.
my wife because not I mean we have amazing doctors, amazing nurses, anesthesiologists. Everybody at this hospital was next level, like the best around, best in the state of Florida. But anyway, it was like an intense moment. You're like, oh my gosh, you're worried about your wife, but at the same time, you hear your babies cry and you're just like, all these mixed emotions. It's so intense. And then you see her and it's just like, wow, she's perfect. And I don't know, it was just an incredible moment. And like I said, before she was born, I didn't know how I would react as a father, as a dad, as a husband, but I instantly, dude, was obsessed with our baby daughter. So just thanking God for our family, my wife. Like, dude, I'm a blessed man. Just to have my wife and daughter alone, man. Like that, there's no greater feeling than having a godly family and a healthy baby. And dude, it's like I said, I was surprised because a couple hours after she was born, we'd been up for days, doing this. So I took a little nap, and as soon as she started crying, boom, I'm up, dude. And my wife said, I've
It's like an
never,
alarm, a really good
yeah,
one.
my wife was like, I've never seen Derek jump out of bed so fast ever. Like when my alarm goes off to do cardio, it's like, all right, let's go do this cardio. But as soon as my baby cries, boom, I'm up. What does she need? Is she all right? And then Jelson has kind of we've this is how it's kind of worked. Jelson has taken the feeding duties, and I have taken the baby changing duties, apparently.
Yeah,
That seems
you
to
just
be how
fall
it
into it,
works.
hey.
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
just
But you
fall
know
into
what?
it.
That's what I'm saying. I'm obsessed with being a girl dad. I love this little girl to death, and I don't care. I'll do anything for her. You know.
Dude, wait until like it doesn't take long. Like my daughter, I spoke to her the other day and on FaceTime, and
Yeah.
she's putting makeup on. She goes, she's
Oh.
3 by the way, 3, and she's pretending to put makeup on. She had one of those pads. She's going like this. She goes,
Mhm.
"Am I beautiful?" And I'm just like,
Oh.
"Oh my god!" I'm like, "You're beautiful without that. You're beautiful without
Yeah.
that. You're beautiful without. You don't need makeup." She goes, "I look like a princess," and I'm
Oh, that
so.
is so cute.
But dude, they yeah, it's funny though with daughters. Like,
Mhm.
I've got a few mates with daughters. Flex Lewis has a daughter
Yeah.
as well, and he
Uh-huh.
said like what he said. He's like she's a what is it, like a drama queen already or something
Mhm.
like and only being like 5
Yeah.
or whatever. But yeah, it comes
Yeah.
quick with daughters. But it's man, it's such a it's
Yeah.
so cool to hear you say like the way you talk about it. It's the way
Mhm.
I feel about it, and I even think about my own experiences, and it's like you can
Yeah.
tell how much emotionally you're invested in it because I think I was
Oh
speaking the
yeah.
same way once I had a child too. So it's real.
Yeah.
It's so cool to see. I mean, man, you're just
Yeah.
populating the world with good people because I know obviously you're going to be great parents as well.
Thank
So
you.
you're just such a great couple.
Thank you,
And
man.
I love to see it as well. And man, you're a man of faith as well. Obviously, you are very
Yeah.
open about that, which is
For sure.
something that I think sometimes some people steer away from, whether it's, whether it's religion, whether it's politics and things like that. Some people tend to steer away from fully putting that out there or
Yeah.
their full opinions on it because
Yeah.
of obviously there's going to be a certain group of people that are going to be like negative on it. But it seems
Yeah.
like you actually get a very good response overall, at least from what I've seen. I'm sure you see the other side of it a bit as well.
Yeah.
But uh, what was your decision to start being so open about that? Because I feel like you've become a more open person about who you truly are and putting that out there. And I think that just endears fans to you more because I can just see it. And that overall perspective
Yeah.
is like, you're being more open than ever. And it draws people to you, man. So
Yeah.
yeah, talk to me about
For sure.
putting that out there and the decision to do that.
Okay. Yeah. So first of all, I was just at the LA Fit Expo this past weekend. When I go to these expos, dude, like, and I have a crazy line where literally, I'm not even joking. I was supposed to be there for like 2 2 hour time slots. I was there for 8 hours. And the line never
Wow.
stopped and it was completely backed up. So, I'm grateful that everybody is there to support and, catch a word, get to, I get to meet new people and stuff. But I would have to say that I would say 3/4 of the people actually come up and say, "Hey, thank you for sharing your faith, your testimony. Like, keep spreading the word, man." And I always tell people, I'm like, "Listen, like, there's people in your life that don't know me, will never know me, and I'll never be able to reach out to." Also, so it's great that we're fellowshipping. I appreciate you saying that to me because I do have a great platform to be able to spread the word. But we all have somebody in our lives that we're impacting that other people like myself will never be able to reach. So it's all of us as the body of Christ doing that. Um, so in terms of seeing it firsthand, how many Christians are out there, I think just a lot of people are either shy or hesitant, or even for like myself, sometimes I think, Derek, are you even worthy of being able to call yourself a Christian and be, spreading the word and talking about your faith, but that really just is the attack of the enemy, right? If you have, good and evil, if you believe in the good, you're also going to have to believe in the evil as well. So there definitely is that in the world that's constantly trying to attack us all. So even as someone like myself, people may see, Derek, you have such strong faith, you're always putting it out there. Listen, I'm getting attacked too, and so there's times where I think to myself, like, are you worthy? Are you good enough to be out here, sharing your faith? But those are not my thoughts. Those are the enemy's thoughts. And those, I used to have to say, I rebuke you, Satan, in the name of my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. So I do that and I continue on my straight and narrow path. I'm trying to lean into God and give it to Him. And listen, dude, like, this is the world, man. I am flesh and blood. And there's times where I get pulled too, where I tend to be selfish and stuff, but that's a part of my testimony, is that I want people to realize that I'm just another guy, just like anybody else who has these challenges and struggles too with faith, not my faith in Jesus Christ or my Lord and Savior, but these worldly kind of tugs and pulls and desires that get thrown at you and stuff. But yeah, I just think that a lot of people are hesitant to put it out there. And I'll tell you again, even myself, go back maybe 5, 6 years ago, and I questioned it myself. I thought, this is a global platform. This isn't just a small town of Indiana where I come from. This is a global platform where there's a lot of countries out there that, they're not so nice to Christians. I mean, it's pretty horrible what some will do to turn against the Lord. But that thought that come into my mind was like, should you be outspoken about this? Like, what if it takes you away from opportunities, such as sponsorships? And I thought instantly, as soon as that thought came to my mind, I thought, absolutely not. If those opportunities come, I don't want them. I don't want them at all.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what I'm here for. God put me on earth to be a bodybuilder as my calling, for the platform to honor and serve him and let him live through me and grow his kingdom. So I'm praying constantly that I can keep that as the core of who I am and not become selfish and try to take the reins of my own life too much, even though it's easy to do.
Yeah, for sure. How did you discover, I suppose, being your authentic self? You know what I mean? Was it a decision? Like, was it something where you go, okay, I feel like because I think everyone's done it where, I mean, people do it daily. Almost 99.9% of people on social media are thinking about what they're putting out there and the perception that they're going to put out there to other people. Was that a thing that you went, I've made a decision, I'm just going to be me? Or did you approach it in another way? How did you discover that? Because there has been a distinct change, I would say. It's somewhat subtle,
Yeah.
but there's a distinct change.
Sure. It wasn't easy. It's actually one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I'll tell you, the year to 2019 Olympia, when Kamal won the 212, that was very hard for me because I was the front runner I was like the heir apparent after Flex Lewis had retired in 2018. I was the guy to come in and take over the title and win for years on end. That was my perspective. That was kind of the narrative that was put out there. So when Kamal won, it was, oh man, that was like a dagger in the heart, dude. Which Kamal, like, respect to him, a great champion, good guy, good friend of mine here in Florida. But anyway, at that time, man, it was devastating. And coming into 2020, the whole world was crazy. But besides that, I was just going through the worst depression of my life, like so bad. I mean, I just didn't even want to be here. I think people know that by now. And if they don't, now they know. But in 2020, I just didn't even want to be here anymore. I at least was a God-fearing man rather than more of a God-loving man. I had the fear of the Lord. So I was like, well, if I'm going to be here, then I give it to you. Because honestly, I just throw in the towel. I'm done trying. What I was doing before was I was looking up to the Flex Lewis, to the Jay Cutler, to the Phil Heath and Ronnie Coleman and all the guys that came before me. And I idolized them so much before I ever, was in the position to be an IFBB pro and an Olympian. I put them on a pedestal like they were just somebody special, which they are in their own right. But I thought to myself, if I ever want to be Mr. Olympia, then I need to fit that role. I need to be somebody special. So I was trying to compensate by trying to be somebody extra, somebody that was perfect. And I was trying to put out, this perfect me. And honestly, man, it was miserable because I wasn't just being me. I was trying to be an extra version of myself and trying to, like I said, fit this role, so to speak. And so what I realized in that 2019, 2020 timeframe was like, I'm trying too hard and I give up. I give it to you, God. Like whatever it is, I give it to you. I even went back home and I just was like, what if I'm done competing? Not that I wanted to, but what if I am? What if I never did this ever again? How would my life be? Would that be a better life for me? And I was like, heck no. Like I'm grateful to get to
Hmm.
do what I love. And you know what? Like I realized, Lord, like you put me on earth to do this for you and not for myself. And so all in all, in that, I just realized like I need to stop, playing this role, be me, be grateful for it. And then I have to admit, I've had a lot of people, such as my wife, that holds me accountable and keeps me grounded. I have a lot of good friends around that keep me grounded, who are good Christian men. But also, my coach, who's not just a coach to me, has definitely mentored me a lot of these last few years to help me, kind of face some of the anxieties that I had before. I had to face them head on. Some of the insecurities that I had from my upbringing that fed my ego. I had to address those kind of things and realize, oh, whoa, like these are reasons of why I am the way I am today. And like, is this who you want to continue to be? And it was like a yes or a no. Sometimes yes, sometimes no. And then I just had to realize, like, who is it that you want to be? And then lean into that. Be the best version of yourself. Don't play a role. Don't try to, pretend anything. Just be the best version of you and create better habits of the mind and daily actions that will, make that better version of yourself. You know what I mean? But that was
Absolutely,
probably
man.
the that
And
was
it's
probably
one.
the hardest thing I ever had to do, though, because think about it. You're changing the way you think. You're changing your daily habits and how you react to things, and your perspective on the world and who you are and the people around you and like what you're doing. My whole perspective of everything had to change, and I really just had to lean into to Jesus Christ for that.
Yeah, and people talk about like even I've heard it myself with like you see people on YouTube for just in my thing, people will say, this guy's got great personality or he's really loud or whatever. I feel like if I try to fit into that and try to
Yeah,
be that too much, it comes across as fake or bullshit or whatever.
yeah,
Some people can do it where they turn it on for the camera, and to an extent, yeah, you can project your voice more or do other things or whatever. But I've heard people say, people on YouTube, man, in YouTube comments, people can be brutal, and it's like,
yeah,
I hate your monotone voice. I hate this. And then you go, how can I change that? I'm like, it's my voice. It's probably not going to change too much. So you
yeah,
just sort of got to
exactly.
work
So
work with what you got and just be your authentic self. And I think it just comes across so much better. But
yeah, for sure.
through all this, man, being a father now, having, I suppose now you've got to back up being Mr. Olympia as well. What's the game plan with that? And has it given you extra motivation now being a father?
Man. Yeah, the game plan is to win it again, man, back to back, to defend that title.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I'm excited, man. And you know what? It was a valid point that people made, was like, how is this going to affect Derek going into the 2024 Olympia? Is this going to distract him and make it harder for him to come back better? And let me tell you, man, um, maybe before she was born, I could have had that question in my head, but since she's been born these last 2 weeks, I can tell you that I have found another gear, another level of motivation that I never had before. Like I said earlier, it was just like I'm just ready to boom, whatever it takes, up. I'm ready to do it. It's like it actually, I think, is going to truly help this prep. I actually think it's going to give me more purpose and more motivation to just come back and get after it each and every day. Because if I'm away from my daughter and I'm at the gym or I'm traveling or something, I better be giving my all. So
Yeah. No
yeah,
wasted time. Yeah.
no wasted time at all.
Now, have I'm going to take a guess. Have you thought of obviously pictured winning the 2024 Mr. Olympia? Have you? I bet you have. Have you thought of getting your daughter on stage and like, like that sort of moment, or not?
uh, I think it goes to everybody's head. I would like to think. I think
Mm.
everybody that competes in Olympia, especially the guys in the top five who truly feel that they have a shot at becoming Mr. Olympia, has had that thought of one day winning and what it would be like. Um, so yeah, I can't say that hasn't come across my mind. But really, for me, I think we all have to realize like who we are and what makes us tick and stuff like that. And like for me, I can't think of too much about the outcome. I just have to think about how can I be better than I was yesterday? If I can be better than I was yesterday, each and every day, all the way until the 2024 Olympia, that result will be there in the end. But if I think too much about just winning, 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 then to me, I think that can be a massive distraction, because that can kind of feed this anxiety of like, oh, but what if it doesn't happen? Or what if something goes crazy at the end or blah, blah, blah. For real, like I really just need to be able to hone in and go, all right, you know who you are, Derek. You're Mr. Olympia, and you've never, ever not given 100% each and every day. So know that about yourself and keep getting after it. And so that's where my confidence comes from. And whatever the outcome is, if it goes a different way for some reason, because somebody was better, then you know what? Respect to them, because I'm not an easy guy to beat, and neither are these guys. So we're all holding each other accountable. And that's why right now you got some of the most exciting Olympias of all time these last couple of years. And I can guarantee you this year is going to be on the next level for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, with the inclusion of Nick Walker back in there as well, and there's a
Oh, yeah.
bunch of guys that are, because everyone seems to want a gun fat top five. Everyone wants to be in that top group, and you've got guys like coming in the future like Carlos Thomas Jr. You've got
Mhm.
Rubiel that's coming. All these other guys, and they're all. How does it feel to be the hunted? Like you are the hunted at the Olympia now. Like you are the top dog. Everyone goes, I want to do this to beat Derek. How does that feel, man? Because that's got to be a different feeling now, I guess.
I love it. I love it, man. The target's on my back, and I want it to stay there, dude. So,
Yeah, get a bit
no,
further away.
yeah, exactly. Let's just keep it right there, buddy. No, I love it. But at the same time, dude, listen, I give a lot of respect to all these competitors, man, whether they're top five last year, the year before, or not. Like you just mentioned, some newer guys that come in that could really do some damage at the Olympia. I love the high level competition. I'm a fan of bodybuilding, but also these guys hold me accountable for me to be my best. So let's say 10, 15, 20 years down the road, whenever I'm not competing anymore, I want to know that when I look back, I go, wow, like that was pretty incredible. Like what I was able to achieve with my physique at that time was absolutely next level. And so these guys, my competition, hold me accountable for that. So it's all of us. I mean, we all see each other. Believe me, I see everybody improving. I'm improving myself. And as a fan, it's awesome, awesome to see that bodybuilding is thriving and growing. And to be the Mr. Olympia is an honor amongst these great champions.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, there's always the discussion now, especially that there's Samson and Andrew Jacked, and then you've got Nick Walker, Hardy Chupin, and Derek Lunsford.
Yeah.
So you got the taller guys, the good tall guys versus the good shorter guys. And that seems to be because there's no one much in the middle. Like there's not many guys that are there's not many guys that are,
Mhm.
I don't think any of those guys are like 5'7", 5'8", or 5'8".
Mhm.
Like they're all 6 foot or they're like shorter than that.
Yeah.
So obviously a good tall guy versus a good short guy. Obviously there's varying degrees, different conditioning, different shapes, all that sort of stuff. But do you think that it could eventually be like tall guy versus short guy, like a Ronnie versus Franco sort of thing, where you've got Andrew Jacked or Samson and you top two, where it's a top two call out? Do you see something like that? And how do you, what do you think about that battle? Because for me, I'm like, you're obviously on the shorter scale of things, but your proportions don't really reflect a guy that is your height because your waist is so
Right.
small and obviously you
Yeah.
flare out like crazy. So, what's your thought on the tall bodybuilder versus the shorter bodybuilder?
Well, I think you just kind of answered it yourself. I think this is a bodybuilding show, and look, I don't want to say it's a tall versus short competition. It's a bodybuilding competition, and the most complete guy, the guy that comes out and wows the crowd, wows the judges, and brings something special to the stage. I mean, that's Mr. Olympia to me. And I think if you look back at the previous Mr. Olympias, you saw, Lee Haney came out with just an unbelievable physique for his time. And then you had, let's skip forward to like Dorian Yates. He just like I said, like their jaws dropped when he come out. I mean, it wanted to drop the pin and go, what the is this? And so when you see that and you're wowed by that, it's like, wow, that guy is next level. And then you had Ronnie Coleman come and just do something that nobody's ever seen before. And then Jay Cutler dethroning him towards the end of his career and bring just this wow factor, this different physique, this different look, this different aura that he brought to the stage, on and off stage. And so it is absolutely a physique competition, but there is this, when you walk on stage, this wow factor, this, man, look at that guy's back shot. Look at this guy's, vacuum. Have we ever seen an ab thigh shot with a vacuum in the open ever like that, and or look at that front double bi. Like when people walk out and they see these certain poses, they just go, man, that's incredible. And then they go, okay, it's close here, it's close here, it's close here, but this guy, he's bringing something a little bit different, and that's what Hadi Chupin did the year before. Like I said, it was close, me and him in 2022. He brought that the most balanced physique of conditioning, size, symmetry, aesthetics, all of that. He was the best in 2022, whereas I came back last year, improved, and I was able to do that myself. So again, we're all using our genetic potential to our advantage. We're increasing our strengths at the same time as we are trying to bring up our lagging body parts as well. So exploiting the strengths while catching up with some of the lagging areas, and that's bodybuilding, man. That's the illusion that we're trying to give, is these crazy proportions, and just something that wows the crowd, and that to me is Mr. Olympia. So if it's a tall guy, great, that's awesome. You're gonna have more overall surface area, and they're gonna have overall more tissue, but at the same time, maybe a shorter guy has more of that crazy wow factor, and it's like, wow, man, this guy is next level. So whoever brings it, man, tall or short, doesn't matter. Look at Sean Clarita. I mean, even Hani Rambod has said he is the Ronnie Coleman of the 212, and so I can't really disagree with that. I mean, he hasn't won 8 titles, but let me tell you, that dude's a freak, and he's an animal in the gym, and also a very nice guy as well. But he come in and he is the real giant killer, man. He slayed some giants that were 6 foot tall back at the Legion Sports a couple years ago, and so that just proves that height doesn't matter. It matters what you bring to the overall package to the stage, man.
Yeah, exactly. And if there was a 180-pound Mr. Olympia, I'm sure Sean Clarita would have like 15 titles. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
he'd have them all.
He's outweighed massively by these other guys, and he's unbelievable, man. Like, I remember seeing him compete in the New York Pro back in the day, and I'm like, he got top 5. That's incredible for a guy of that structure. I'm like, wow, top 5 in the New York Pro in the 202 or 212, whatever it was then. And then the dude goes on and wins Mr. Olympia. I would have said there's no chance of that ever happening. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
and I think what did he place? What did he place the Arnold that year? Was it 5th or 4th or what? Something like that. I think it was top 5, but that's crazy, man. It's like, you think, I mean, I think he mentioned it on Hani's podcast the other day. He said that he is the lightest, smallest guy in the 212 division. So think about that. You already have a division that is capped by 212-pound weight cap, right? And, he goes up to the open, guys being 300 pounds and still placing top 5 at some of the most prestigious shows outside the Olympia. So hats off to that guy, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah, I think if he probably jumped in the open as well, like he's probably top 10 a lot of those years. So he's a top 10 guy in the world, and he's the smallest out of all the 212 and open guys, which is just it's completely wild, man. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed part 1 of my 2-part interview with Mr. Olympia, 212 and Open Mr. Olympia, the only champ, Derek Lunsford. You want to stay tuned for part 2, because in part 2, we actually bring up the footage of Derek at the Mr. Olympia 2023, where he won against Hadi Chupin, Samson Dowder, and everyone else in the lineup. And we sort of break down pose by pose. Well, we do break down pose by pose. We break down why he did certain poses. We break down the vacuum pose he did for the ab and thigh. We break down pretty much everything and areas he wants to work on as well. So it was really, really cool. And I think it's some insight that you guys will get basically nowhere else from your Mr. Olympia, the #1 bodybuilder on the planet. So make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell button. That way you'll be notified when part 2 of my 2-part interview with 2023 Mr. Olympia Derek Lunsford is going up. Anyway, guys, if you did enjoy this, give the video a thumbs up, smash that like button, also subscribe and click the notification bell button, as I always said, but I went on autopilot there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. My name is Xavier Wills. This is Desktop Bodybuilding, and we are out.